like the Eastern Cape banking and electronic crime, Eastern Cape crimes against the state, Eastern Cape fraud and statute, Eastern Cape serial and electronic. So when you go according to the provinces, you can see the total number of case dockets. Now these dockets are all over the country, and when you look at and you concentrate and you go further, you will see that the same as for the case dockets being investigated by the Independent Police Directorate, IP, these case dockets are also taken into account when the performance of the detective is being measured. But neither the Deputy National Commissioner of Crime Detection, the Provincial Commissioner, or the Deputy Provincial Commissioner of Crime Detection has any control over these dockets. Currently, there are 26,795 case dockets under the investigation of IP. In other words, there are these dockets that are at IPIT. Starting from when IPIT started, they sign for dockets from the police station. When they close the docket, they don't return the docket to the station, get filed somewhere in IPIT offices. Now, the system is open, this side. But once you push for all the dockets that are at IPIT, that are at the DPCI, all those respective environment, your system improves, the performance of the detective improves. That is why you will see that you have 40,929 outstanding for more than 2 years are with DPCI, and the DNC crime detection has no control over this docket. There are more dockets at the units under the DPCI, but there is currently no system in place to draw the total of all cases within the DPCI. This also impact negatively on the performance of the detective service, as the performance is calculated with the case docket taken into consideration. Now, we've got heavy workload of the detectives, and the table below dictated the total docket carried by members of investigating units. Now, when you look at the members, we've got 184,935 case dockets, and you look at the total case docket, members who are carrying between 1 and 50 dockets. We have 2,651 members who are carrying between 1 to 50. Members who are carrying 50 to 100 dockets, we've got 648 in the country. Members who are, no, this is the Eastern Cape alone. 101 to 200 cases is 450. Those that are carrying between 200 and 300 cases on hand, and one person carrying between 200 and 300 cases, you find that you've got 118 members. Now you've got members that are carrying 500 to 600 docket, one person, we've got 7. And then those that are carrying 601 and more is 4. And then we've got a specific number, I've got a name here in Umtata, who's got the highest workload of 685. I don't know the situation.
So General, just to interrupt you there, sorry. There were then ultimately recommendations of how to improve the performance of the detective service, isn't it? And that you'll find at page 84. There were these recommendations that were made, and they were approved by the Divisional Commander, Detective and Forensic Services, HK Sentumele, on the 20th of February 2024. They were approved by you on the 22nd of February 2024, and they were approved by the National Commissioner on the 10th of March 2024, although he says 6.1.1 approved. Are you at 84? 6.1.1 is the DPCI and IPIT have their own SEPs 6 on the EIS. He approves that, but he says 6.1.2 not approved. All case dockets at Crime Intelligence, POPs, ORS to be returned to the detective service environment. 6.1.3 is approved. 6.1.4 approved. 6.1.5, he says it requires expand or explanation or meaning, not approved. 6.1.5 is the National Commissioner to direct all provincial commissioners to implement a docket, a reduction strategy, in brackets, recovery plan, and then the other recommendations are approved.
That's
so
correct.
so that would have been the status quo until it's changed. Has it changed since then?
No, it doesn't change. Here, I was just actually highlighting the fact that we've got, as detectives, we've got dockets scattered all over the country that we cannot account. And we've got dockets that are open for more than 10 years in the system. Others are open for 20 years in the system. Others are open for 15 years. Where are those dockets? So that is why I make this presentation that actually seeks to make sure that we know how many dockets we have. And then if we know how many dockets we have, why do we still have a simple assault case open for 5 years? Why must it take so long? Why do we have a docket that hasn't been attended to for more than 10 years? Where is that docket? Why is it open? So this is when we need to make sure now that we cover we close the gap in making sure that in the system, what we have is dockets that are alive. Now we've got many dockets that we cannot account for years. And to an extent that at some point we even received a query from correctional services that there are certain inmates that you find that every month or second month their docket get postponed for 5 months. They've been in prison for quite too long. Their dockets are not being finalized because they keep on being postponed. So this seeks to address issues like those.
But General Sibiya, I can reference, and these are your documents. You put them into the bundle, in the core bundle. At 87 and 88, you address the issue of poor performance of the detective service. So it's all commendable. You even address IPID. And also at page 90, you address the Provincial Commissioner Eastern Cape on the alleged poor performance, demanding feedback from them by the 29th. But if you look at all of that, you don't see any reference to the PKTT.
Because it was never an issue in my case, the issue of the PKTT is a just team that was running and it doesn't form part of this. It was not even a focal point on my side. Here I was addressing the whole country, looking at the crime levels and how to improve the performance of the detectives.
The other document, there was reference to it, but we also know that this report at page 54 to 59, which was drafted by Motsepi, that was after the July 2025 briefing. And his conclusion is that at page 59, where at paragraph 3.18, he comments that the disbandment of the political task team is partially disbanded as they still carry dockets to court and dockets which are sent to and from senior public prosecutor. Conclusion. The statement of the Provincial Commissioner of KwaZulu-Natal during the media briefing is incorrect, that the dockets are gathering dust in the office of the Deputy National Commissioner, Crime Detection, because the team were analyzing and inspecting the dockets, and extra funding is requested from the Office of Chief Financial Officer to finalize the investigations in order to render service delivery and justice to the deceased families, as the investigators are expected to conduct the investigation in KwaZulu-Natal, and the budget of Division